to the Profits Unlimited podcast channel, and I appreciate everybody being here. And I got to thinking about something my dad used to do with me. When he started training me back when I was 17, 18 years old, he'd ask me, he'd say, Wayne, he said, what's the most important thing in selling? It really does boil down to one thing as the absolute most important thing in selling, and what it is. It's not the relationship with the customer. It's not customer contact after the sale. Those things are important. It's not letting the customer feel like they bought it. Those are all very important. But the absolute number one most important thing in selling is this, in my opinion. You must sell yourself first. Have you thought about it from that perspective? You must sell yourself first. Regardless if you're selling landscaping or lawn care or cars or boats or homes or whatever it is that you're out there selling in the world, the most important thing you got to do is sell yourself first. Know what makes you and your product and your services different and better than your competitor. And then you got to believe it. You've got to believe that you've got, not me, but you've got the best service available or the best product available, and know why. Know why you believe it. Because then you'll be able to sell it. You're going to be able to sell it at a profitable price when you believe it. If you haven't sold yourself, now it's easy to say, well, Wayne, I got confidence and man, I am the best and I blah, blah this and I blah, blah that. But do you really believe it? It takes a gut check. It takes a self-evaluation and gut check for your pride and your ego to say, yeah, I know why I'm different and better than my competitor. And here's why. And can you deliver that message to your customer and your potential customers effectively without criticizing your competitor? Because that's something else that my dad taught me a long time ago. He said, Wayne, he said, when you got to resort to criticizing your competitor, you've got nothing to sell yourself. And I think that's something else we all take away from this today. You know, I may know that Chuck in a truck out here just offers terrible service. They're really inexpensive. But when a customer says, hey, Wayne, what do you think about Chuck in a truck? Well, you know what? I know about them. I don't know a whole lot about them. But obviously you weren't happy with Chuck in a truck. I'm here to help you. At no point do I need to throw my competitor under the bus, even though I may want to push a bunch of them under the bus, because I know why we are different and better than they are. But I don't need to convey that message to the client that, oh yeah, Chuck in a truck's the worst thing you could ever do to yourself. I'm sorry you had that experience with them. Yeah, maybe I'm sorry you had that experience with them, but I'm here to help you. I really don't know much about them, even though I do, because that's something else we'll talk about in a future podcast, is the importance of knowing your competition and what they do and what they don't do and how you do it and do it different and better than they do it and why. But we got to sell ourselves first. We don't criticize our competitor. And then there's two questions. What do you think they are? Let me get you thinking a little bit. What are the two questions that must be answered for the customer. And it's not, I'll give one away, it's not what's the price. Because think of yourself. How many times is price really the deciding factor? We may think it is. We may have some of our customers say that, well, I found somebody less, and we've all heard that story a million times, and you're going to hear it another million times. But you, think of yourself when you buy something. Price isn't normally the complete driving factor. So what are the two questions that must be answered for the customer? Number one, what's in it for them? Think of yourself when you buy something. Why do you buy anything? Sometimes we buy things because we have to have them. But a lot of times we buy things because we want it, right? Specific to this conversation, we're talking about lawn and landscape services. We're a service. Most of our customers that we all have, me, you, and everybody else in this country that offers this service, we're providing a service to somebody that doesn't have to have it, but they want it. So have you answered the question for them? What's in it for them? And why that's so important? What are you doing to create perceived value? And I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence with this, but do you really understand why creating perceived value is so important to the success and profitability of your company? We've got to create perceived value. In other words, what are you creating for somebody that says, man, I just need to hire Wayne's Lawn Service. I just need to hire ABC Lawn Service. What are you doing to have somebody say, I want to hire you? What kind of perceived value are you wrapping your package up in to make your potential customer say, I want it? You don't want it to be price, because then you're attracting a completely different clientele. If they want you because you're the cheapest, they're going to fire you for the same exact reason. So do something else to create perceived value. Create the professionalism. Show up, return the phone calls, reek of professionalism. It's all the little things we can do to create that perceived value. When you show up at their house, know where to park your truck. Be properly dressed. Don't have your shirts cut off. Don't be running around with holes in your pants. Now, I realize a lot of you guys are smaller companies. I was there at one point, and I understand that you run a lot of your appointments after you've been working or while you're working. But do you look professional? You don't have to be clean because you're working. But are your sleeves cut off? Do you have your shirts ripped out? You know, you're wearing a Motley Crue hat. Tell them age a little bit there. You know, but are you looking the part? Are you looking professional, or do you look like a lawn guy? And I say that with all due respect. Nothing wrong with being a lawn guy, but we're selling professionalism. What's in it for them? After we answer that question for the customer, what's in it for them, what's the next most important thing we got to answer for the customer? We've created the perceived value. Think of yourself before you buy something. You look at something and it's really nice, and you think, man, that's really nice. I can just see myself in that truck or on that boat or in that house or whatever it is. Or I can see that landscape in front of my house looking really nice. The second question you got to answer for the customer. First, what's in it for them? Second, how can they pay for it? Not how much does it cost necessarily, but how can they pay for it? Think of yourself, right? We think of that all the time when we buy things. How am I going to pay for that? What are you doing to make it easy for somebody to pay? Do you accept credit cards? Do you accept PayPal? Do you accept cash? Do you accept checks? You know, what methods, number one, are you making it easy for your customer to potentially buy from you? Okay? And are you making it easy for them to pay? Not just with a method, but maybe you offer on a landscape, hey, yeah, you know, man, how many times haven't we heard, I'd really like to do that, but that's a little out of my budget. You ever heard that? I've heard it. I've heard it a lot of times. Our salespeople hear it all the time. So how do you respond to that? Well, you know, blah, 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 blah. Do you come up with excuses? Or do you say, you know what, Miss Smith, let me make that affordable for you. How about if we set this up into payments for you? How about if we take, let's just make a scenario up. How about if we take 25% down, 25% upon completion, and we'll break the other two payments up over 30 or 40, 90 to 60 days. Based on the size of the job, you can get creative on what you're going to do to make it easy for somebody. Maybe they want a cash deposit and a credit card final payment, or vice versa. Are you flexible with that? What we found as we became more flexible with the different methods of, not only the methods of payment we would take, but how we would set those payments up for somebody. It goes back to a talk I've got another podcast and video on. It's called giving your customers a choice between something and something else. We're giving our customers a choice between a one-time payment, if that's what they want to do, or we can set it up into 2 or 3 payments if that's what they want to do. Make it easy for your customer to buy from you. So to wrap this up, the most important thing in selling is what? The most important thing in selling is you got to sell yourself first, right? After you sell yourself first, the 2 questions that have to be answered for the customer is what's in it for them and how can they pay for it? Sell yourself first, what's in it for them, and how can they pay for it? And to wrap this up, I call it the sales dance. You know, we about calling people back and whatnot, but I call it the sales dance. And remember this, you know, we're kind of leery about how quickly we want to call somebody back. I'm going to be bothered. I'm going to do this. Man, if they want it, they'll call me. You got to be the aggressor. You got to be the one to do the follow-up. And within the sales dance, always remember this. The prospect is just as nervous about telling you no as you are finding out that the answer is yes.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave us a comment below and we will get back to you soon. If you aren't already, please subscribe to our channel. Also, go like our Facebook page where you can interact with us and the whole Profits Unlimited community. Check out our great website with all of our 100% money-back guaranteed products at ProfitsRUs.com. And remember, stay tuned for the latest and greatest content from us at Profits Unlimited.